part in this audio presentation then, we wanted to go through what the Eye Exercise Express, a quick start guide for improving eyesight, actually includes.
So the Quick Start Guide includes 11 essential eye exercises that we've chosen as part of the Eye Exercise Express. These are the exercises we think you need the most, that they're the most essential for the conditions we've listed.
Yeah, we really just sort of sat down over several days and thought, right, what are the key eye exercises that people really could just try and minimalize their program? You know, if they could only do 4 exercises in that day, which ones would those be?
Right. And we went through each condition and said, okay, which do these exercises work for each condition? Made sure that these 11 covered all the conditions we were going to talk about.
And it kind of just worked out nicely, really, that as we were going through each condition, picking a key, the key exercises for each condition, sort of a pattern started to emerge, and that's where these 11 eye exercises came from.
Right. So in the first track of the audio tracks, we go through how to get started with the program. We call it Let's Get Going. We have an general introduction to the Quick Start Guide. And we have an explanation of the materials, the PDFs that we've given you.
Yeah, we really sort of felt it was important that even though it's a pretty simple product, you just, plug and play, so to speak, there's not really much explanation to go there because we already guide you through the exercises.
Right.
But it's just nice to have a little bit of a helping hand there, really, just to how to use the exercises and a bit more explanation on the best way to use them.
Right. And we do need to explain the PDFs that we've given you. We have a quick start reference table, which has the conditions and the exercises you need to do for each condition. So that's probably the one you'll go to the first because it tells you which exercises you're going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm quite excited about that section because we've produced some new materials that we've not actually released out to the public before. So it'd be really interesting to see some of the feedback that we get from these new materials.
Right. We've redone the eye chart, the 10-foot eye chart. We've redone the Presbyopia chart and the other charts as well. So they're fresh materials, new letters. So in case you've memorized the 10-foot chart.
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And it is important to keep using new charts just to keep it fresh, because a lot of the time we think, oh, my vision's improved. Oh, I already know the chart.
Right.
So I didn't improve. So
yeah, people sometimes discount their improvements actually because they think, oh, I know that chart so well. So yeah.
So, but let's not give give too much away there on the old PDF files. We'll talk about the PDF files towards the end.
Sounds good.
So, but the second track then is the palming eye exercise. And those of you that have listened to any of our material will really know that this is one of our key number 1 basic eye exercises for all of those people wanting to improve their eyesight.
Right. And basically, if you're not doing palming, you're really not doing a complete eye exercise program.
So why would you say that palming is so important for people?
Well, it gives you the relaxation you need for healing to occur. And also counteracts, if you're doing some strenuous eye exercises, it sort of counteracts any effort you've put into those eye exercises.
Yeah, I really liked the analogy when I listened to the Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead documentary. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
And so basically it's about a guy who's overweight and he has a skin condition and he gets rid of it by juicing. And the way he explains it in the beginning is that his body knows how to heal. It wants to heal. But he keeps getting in the way by eating junk food and, not exercising and all the rest of it. So if we can just, get out of the way, then our eyes are just going to improve.
Right.
So if we can just allow our eyes to relax, which is what you can do through the palming, and overcome this strain that we're putting it under, then we're putting the eyes in a good situation where they can start to heal themselves.
Right, right.
And certainly some of the exercises are more strenuous than others. Something like the distance-looking eye exercise that we're going to talk about later on, that's a very relaxing exercise. But some of the other ones, like astigmatism exercise and shifting, is a little bit more strenuous. So certainly that palming is a bit more important.
Right.
In that program.
Well, and it's counteracting all the stress we're putting on our eyes in our daily lives. So.
And certainly we'd love to go into more detail about how, you're resting You're deeply resting the optic nerve because you're preventing, the optic nerve responds to light. So by doing the palming, we're allowing it to rest by preventing that light to get into it. And we're also helping to clear out the visual system a little bit more, all the information that's flowing to and fro from the eyes to the brain.
Right. All right, we better keep going or we're never going to finish this. We'd love to talk about eye exercises. So moving on to track 3, we have the sunning eye exercise. And this is one of my favorites, going out in the morning and closing my eyes and sunning, facing the sun. It relaxes your eyes. It activates the eyes at the same time. And it takes down my light sensitivity, gives me more contrast in my vision as well. So
yeah, especially even if somebody doesn't necessarily have a condition, if you're used to wearing sunglasses all the time and not being used to being outside in natural sunlight, then a lot of people nowadays, could be considered to have light sensitivity.
Yeah, we've kind of created light sensitivity with sunglasses and by being indoors all the time.
So by doing the sunning exercise, then you're allowing the eyes to get used to the sunlight again. You're getting the pupils to constrict, which allows that to happen. And one of my favorite things is that what the sunning does is it activates the retina. So obviously the retina is both something that we have interests in.
Right. Different parts of the retina, but yes.
So I'm surprised because when I do the sunning exercise, I feel my rods and my cones being activated, which feels great. And it's the rod cells that I'm focused on improving on. And for you, it's the cone cells.
Right.
So certainly sunning is great for things like macular degeneration, and anything that involves wanting to see more and more detail because you activate those cone cells, which is responsible for seeing the color.
And you're exercising your eye's ability to adjust to light and dark as well at the same time.
And if anyone's seen the pinhole eye exercises or the pinhole glasses that you can check out on our resources section on our website, then it's sort of doing something very similar. It's shrinking the pupil down so that you can focus a clearer image right on the fovea, which is the detailed part at the back of the eye.
Right, that gives you the increase in clarity. Yeah.
So the 4th track then that you're going to get in the Eye Exercise Express, a quick start guide for improving eyesight, is the distance looking exercise, and certainly another real key essential eye exercise. And one of the main reasons really is to counteract the fact that we're always looking from near all the time.
Yeah, like the week we spend looking at the computer creating this, right?
Yeah, creating this right now, we look near a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could survive without this eye exercise.
It's true.
Anymore, especially with the amount of work that we've been doing on this product.
Yeah.
And indeed with the website. If I hadn't have incorporated that distance looking, I think I would be in a real mess right now.
That's true. So yeah, it's a very good exercise. Again, very relaxing, like the previous 2. So there's no strain in doing it. And it's sort of relaxing to your mind as well. But it's really is counteracting our lifestyle where we're looking close all the time.
Especially somebody that's under the age of 20, before the eyeball is sort of solidified in its place, then by doing the distance looking, you're really helping to prevent myopia.
Yeah. We wish everyone under 20 was aware of this, or at least their parents were aware of it.
Yeah.
And realized the benefit of it.
And certainly if you're somebody that has myopia past the age of 20, then the distance looking is really going to help with the shape of that eye, enabling you to be able to see better in the distance, and also with the brain, sort of retraining the brain to see clearer in the distance.
Well, and you may have also developed strain in the focusing muscles of the eye, the ciliary body, and that'll help that as well.
Yeah, and one thing that's great about the distance looking exercise is it flattens the lens. When we look near, the lens rounds in order to focus. But when we look in the distance, that lens can flatten. So this helps with things like presbyopia, which is a stiffening of the lens, and also cataracts, which is sort of a stiffening and clouding of the lens as well. So it's really a fantastic all-round exercise, distance looking for a lot of things.
On track number 5, we have the astigmatism exercise. And as it appears, it's very good for astigmatism. It also stretches and strengthens the muscles around the eyes, the extraocular muscles. And it deals with the warping of the cornea. And to a certain degree, it allows our brains, or trains our brains, to deal with the double image that astigmatism causes.
And this is certainly more of a specific eye exercise that we've dedicated to astigmatism, and also keratoconus, which is sort of an exaggerated astigmatism with the sort of increased warping of the cornea.
Yeah, kind of an extreme astigmatism.
So the eye exercise on track number 6 is the shifting eye exercise. And again, certainly one of our favorites, because this helps prevent the disuse of the macula, which is responsible for seeing detail, and preventing degeneration of the macula, which is certainly something that a lot of people are facing in our modern day lives. As we're getting older and older, more and more people are discovering they have macular degeneration.
Right, and maybe this is where we differ from the medical profession a little bit, in that we believe you can use your macula as a way of not losing your macula.
Yeah.
And they would probably say, oh, it's just inevitable. You're all going to get macular degeneration. And we don't buy into that, so.
We could be predisposed to having this, as we age and our body does age, and so
Right.
certain cells, might get weaker and what have you. But just like, what did I see on TV the other day? A 75-year-old bodybuilder woman.
Right.
And the reason why she was so intent on doing this is she wanted to prove that just because you're getting older doesn't mean that you're weak.
Right.
And I mean, I would not give this woman an arm wrestle competition.
Right.
She would eat me alive. And so it's sort of similar with the macula. Now, if you keep using it, you keep it strong, then you help prevent these degenerative conditions.
It's kind of like Jack LaLanne. I keep talking about Jack LaLanne, but he was towing boats, I think, when he was in his 80s or something like that. He was swimming in cold water, towing boats when he was in his 80s. And so we want you to have Jack LaLanne maculas, so keep using them.
So as we said, the macula is responsible for sharp and colored detail. So if we help activate those cone cells, really wake them up, and get them going again, get the brain connecting to them again, then it means that our images are going to seem clearer and more detailed. And I mean, who doesn't want that, right?
Right. No, and it definitely helps me with my clarity as well, and with my problems with my optic atrophy. On track 7, we have the presbyopia chart exercise. And I'm very familiar with this since I have presbyopia. It's a lot of convergence exercise, which helps strengthen the convergence muscles inside your eyes. Mm-hmm. It flexes the lens, uses the ciliary muscles, all of these to benefit presbyopia, for one thing.
So those people that don't know, why would you say flexing the lens is beneficial for someone with presbyopia?
Well, because presbyopia is a stiffening of the lens and a weakening of the muscles. So it's really doing both of those things. And it's using the convergence muscles, which in a lot of people, they get weak as well. Mm-hmm. So it's really addressing all three issues in presbyopia. And
in the exercise, we do talk about this a little bit whilst you're doing the exercise. Mm-hmm. So don't worry, you don't have to go away to the library and start researching everything that we're talking about here. Just go along with it, and you'll find out a lot more as you go along.
So yeah, when I do this exercise on a regular basis, I can suddenly start reading at a close distance again. The presbyopia recedes.
Because it's allowing the lens to round more.
Exactly, and the muscles to get stronger, and the convergence muscles. Yeah, all of that.
So something like strabismus, this exercise is also good for helping to retrain the brain and the muscles to fuse on the single image. Because, to do the exercise, you have no choice but to make that third image right in the middle.
Right, and we're really using this chart to treat strabismus as well. It's just sort of a happy accident we could use the same chart for that condition as well.
So as you're retraining the muscles and strengthening the muscles to really tune in on those three images, then it's also helping to strengthen the brain's response and ability to be able to fuse one image.
Right.
So the next track number 8, is something I like to call eye push-ups, but we call it near and far. And this is because, it's very simple. You look from near and then you look from far. And as we talked about previously, that when you look from far, your lens flattens, but when you look near, it rounds. So what we're doing is we're continuously going forwards and backwards, looking near and far in a particular way, which enables the lens to fully relax and fully round.
Right. So it really is like pumping those muscles in your eyes, relaxing them and then contracting them, relaxing, contracting them.
So any condition you can think of with the lens, like cataracts, presbyopia, this is going to help keep it nice and healthy by allowing the nutrients and the fluid to be moving around nice and freely within the eye. And it's also going to help keep the lens nice and flexible. But what's great about this is in order for the lens to move, it also needs the ciliary muscle in order to do it. So it means that we're also working those muscles in order to round and flatten the lens, which is giving those muscles a great workout.
Yeah, it's an overall workout for the eye, the near and far exercise.
Yeah, it's certainly, it could be quite intensive and we want people to take it relatively easy, but it's certainly a good exercise for most people wanting to keep their eyes healthy.
Right. So on track number 9, we have the obstruction eye exercise. We use one of the small pieces of paper that you can cut out using the cutting guide, one of our PDFs, and you obstruct your stronger eye and start using the weaker eye. And the reason we do this is to bring more balance to the visual system. We tend to overuse one eye in our stressful lives, and we kind of ignore the other eyes. So this is blocking the stronger eye and starting to engage with the weaker eye.
So track number 10 is exercising your peripheral vision. Certainly one of my favorite exercises, I'm sure everybody knows by now. And what this is doing, it's going to help counteract the eye strain that we cause from overusing the central vision so often. If you think about our modern day lives, it's very much the world in front of us. Using a computer, being on your phone, reading a book, everything is central. And we start to switch off from the world around us. So this exercise is going to get us reusing and activating the brain's need to see the world around us, and it means that we can give the central vision a rest, and it's also going to help bring balance, so it means that it reduces a lot of that eye strain that we get there.
And even if you don't think you have problems with your peripheral vision, you might have night blindness, and that's really the same condition. People who start to see less well at night probably are seeing less well in their periphery as well, so this is very good for them as well.
Yeah, so even if, say you're not as extreme as night blindness, but you're starting to notice that it's more and more difficult to see in the dark, then this is certainly an exercise that you want to be working on in order to be able to see a little bit better in that night vision. But in particular, we've chosen this for the condition like retinitis pigmentosa. And also it helps in glaucoma because you're helping to stimulate the peripheral cells, which is what is most, not always, but is most commonly affected when you have glaucoma.
And it's reducing the strain on your eyes by balancing your system. And
certainly in both conditions, like with RP, I certainly noticed that I get a lot of central vision eye strain because I'm using that so much more than my periphery.
On track 11, we give you the self-massage exercise. And that's massage around the neck, face, shoulders to increase blood supply to your eyes. A very important part of healing your eyes.
Yeah, this is really something that, again, people don't think about. It's this holistic approach to self-healing where it's not just focusing on the eyes to improve the eyes. You want to think of the whole body as a system instead of just individual units. So by getting more blood to the eyes, we're getting more nutrients and we're getting more oxygen, which obviously the cells need in order to function best. But something that people really don't think about is it also helps take away waste from the eyes. Most of us know that when our cells are working, they produce a certain waste. And if we don't have good venous return or good blood flow back away from the eyes, then it means that that waste is starting to build up, which is...
Yeah, it's one of the symptoms of dry macular degeneration, for one thing. But we believe that a lot of the eye conditions are caused by poor blood flow. So by doing this, you can actually prevent some of these problems from coming on, or at least help, at least stabilize, or even help conditions that have already come on.
So the final exercise, and a very simple one, but still very important for natural vision improvement, is eye rotations. And the reason why this is so important is because we have 6 muscles that are attached to around the outside of the eye that is responsible for giving it full rotational movement. This is going to help to strengthen and stretch those muscles, which, if you think about it, in our modern day lives, we spend most of our time just facing forward, and we very rarely do these full rotations where we're looking around here, there, and everywhere.
Right, and we're often not using our eyes to track things, which is a very normal, natural thing to do for human beings to do with their eyes, is to track things. Instead, maybe we're tracking the cursor on our computer, and that's about it, you know.
And if you really want an example of how stiffness in these muscles could create strain, you might think this is nonsense. But if now you try and look, if you keep your head facing forward and try and look extreme left, you might, or extreme right, or extreme up, or extreme down, you might feel a little bit of tension there in one of those muscles. And this is sort of subconscious tension that we're feeling throughout the day that you're just not really aware of. And I've certainly known for this exercise to trigger headaches in people if they don't do it on a
more gradual basis, work up to it.
Because, that weakness is there, and, those muscles are so tight, just like any other muscle in the body. And if we don't keep it nice and loose, then there's going to be side effects.
Right. And again, that influences the circulation that we just talked about earlier. So
So the 11 exercises there, and then an introductory track that we have. So 12 tracks in all. But there was one thing that we sort of wanted to do to maybe give these eye exercises a little bit of a spice, and to try and help our listeners want to do their eye exercises a little bit more.
Right. And what better thing to do than to bring the sounds of where we do our exercises, which are the beaches off of San Francisco and Golden Gate Park.
Yeah, one thing that we notice a lot of when clients come here to work with us in San Francisco is they say, well, of course you like doing eye exercises. Look at this ocean. Look at this, look at your surroundings. And when we're over in Golden Gate Park, it's such a beautiful place to be to do these eye exercises. Well, we thought, okay, that's another excuse. So let's get rid of that excuse. And we're going to bring the ocean and Golden Gate Park. Well, in particular, we even went and recorded early morning Golden Gate Park.
There you go, yes.
Because again, it's just it's a really beautiful time to be there in the park with the sun rising. So we wanted to bring this to everybody just to help try and motivate you and encourage you to do your eye exercises more.
Right. So you will find our personal tracks of going out there and tracking the waves and the birds. So you'll hear them in the background while we're giving you the instructions and encouraging you to do the exercises.
And they really go well, especially with things like when we do the distance looking track. It's just nice to sit back, and maybe even if you don't have that nice of a view, to be able to sit back, gaze into the distance, listen to our instructions of the exercise, and just listen to those waves lapping away. It really just helps enhance the relaxation of whilst doing the eye exercises. And as we all know, relaxation is very important when doing these eye exercises, because a lot of the time it's the strain and the sympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for stress, is what's being responsible for a lot of these conditions in the first place. So the more you can relax, the better these exercises are going to work for you.
Yeah, that's right. So the last thing we wanted to go over was what are the PDFs, the materials that we give you along with the Quick Start Guide. A lot of them are just tools you need to use for the exercises. So for instance, we have the presbyopia chart for the presbyopia exercise, and actually it helps with strabismus as well. We have the large and small print that we use for some of the shifting exercises and for checking your vision. And we have a 10-foot eye chart that we've, as we said earlier, we've updated the letters. So you have new letters than you would find on our free chart on the website. And then we have a cutting guide, which is just allows you to put that over an 8.5 by 11 black construction paper and cut out the sizes of paper easily.
Yeah, this was a real genius invention by Richard. I'm really going to tip my hat off to you on that one, sir. It was we were really trying to figure out an easy way of getting people to figure out how to cut out these 3-size pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And before we were just giving out, the ruler size and
just give sizes.
Inches and again, it's just another obstacle. It's just another thing that people go, oh, do you know what? I don't have time to go do this. Oh, I don't have a ruler, or it's just another obstacle in the way. So, I mean, Richard just made this very easy for you.
Yeah. So you just take some scissors and cut along the line. It's just like you're in 5th grade or something like that. So, and then the final PDF that you'll get is one of the more important ones, which is this Quick Start reference table. You'll really only use it probably once or twice. You just look up your condition, and it gives you the 4 exercises you need to do. So you can put them in your playlist, take those exercises off your computer and put them on your phone or whatever to create a playlist of your exercises.
And one thing that was so important when we did that quick reference table is that you really just look for your condition, and then you've got the 4 exercises listed there, and then you just start doing those exercises straight away. No more obstacles, just go ahead and start doing it.
Right. And we made this as easy as possible so that you could start seeing the benefits as quickly as possible with as few obstacles to doing it. Because once you start seeing the benefits, you'll be motivated to keep going.
And another thing I really liked about these PDF files is we're actually giving the people the PDF files, so you can just print them out anytime. Say you lose one, say you even want an extra one. Say you even discover your own kind of eye exercise, that with the convergence, some people put 2 charts next to each other and try and convert both charts.
Right.
And even with, the 10-foot chart, there's so much stuff you can do with the materials. So say you had to buy the product and have the physical sheet. Well, as soon as you lost that sheet, well, then you can't do that eye exercise anymore.
Right.
So we really wanted to make it, again, as easy as possible. and you could just do these exercises anytime. Like when Richard, he takes his presbyopia charts.
Yeah, on BART with me on the train, and just slip it in my pocket. I'll fold it up even. So you wouldn't do that with a chart that you only had once. But for me, I just print out a chart, fold it up in my pocket, and then there's more on my refrigerator that I can look at while I'm at home. So it's good to have as many copies as you can possibly have.
So an example of somebody who's fitting these key exercises into their daily lives and seeing results is JD, who's in San Antonio in Texas. And this was a bit of a surprise email. We had spoken to JD for a few weeks on and off there, but it was really nice to get this email. And he said, "Here is getting my vision improvement back on track news," laugh out loud. And this is a podcast that we did
last week,
a few weeks ago. And he said, "Palming and sunning exercises are great. They work to relax my eyes and to see more clearly. Every time my eyes get blurry, I do the palming exercise," which is really a perfect thing to do. We say that if you ever have this issue, that you just stop and palm.
Right. He's very new to eye exercises, but he's already figured out that when his eyes get blurry, he should palm.
My eyes get blurry because of the computer. So we're glad that he's also noticing that his eyes are natural and that they do actually get blurry depending on what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I'm using the computer, TV, and spending too much time indoors. So he's really starting to build that relationship with his eyes. Right. And realize that, your eyes do get tired if you don't give them that rest. Every day I do the exercises. Number 1, palming more than once a day. Number 2, sunning. And number 3, eye muscle exercises. And after the exercises, my eyes get clearer. After a little bit of time, though, they get blurry again. So again, a lot of people miss this. They don't realize that their vision gets blurry and clear and blurry. And I suppose if you're wearing glasses all the time, it's always clear, because those glasses are forcing it to stay clear.
Yeah.
That's why I do palming more often, because there's a lot of energy in the human hands, and we get more energy from palming. If the hand chakras are active, then our energy becomes so it's all good. Laugh out loud. Thanks for helping us to improve our eyes. So a bit of added bonus there. You can see that JD is picking up on one of the extra parts of palming, which is the energy to the eyes. Yep. But it's certainly fantastic to see these people, how they're using the exercises, they're incorporating them into their lives, and they're seeing the results. So there we are then. That's a very quick review of what we're going to have in the Eye Exercise Express, a quick start guide for improving your eyesight. And we really hope that you're as excited as we are about this, and we hope that a little bit more of an explanation will help you understand why these eye exercises are so essential, and also understand how we're really trying to make this as easy for you as possible, and how by having all these materials at the touch of a button and being able to just press play on your computer or your iPod or anything that you have means that you can really take these eye exercises anywhere and do them anytime.
Basically, we knew the eye exercises were going to work and would be good for your eyes. We just wanted to remove any kind of obstacles so you would get going as quickly as possible. So that's the goal of the Eye Exercise Express.
So we hope to see you then in part 3 of this special presentation of the Eye Exercise Express, where we're going to be answering a lot of the typical questions that we get from our audience. And also we're going to be telling you a little bit more on how you can actually get your hands on this product and start seeing improvements for yourself.